Hey, yo, this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. And, today the question is, should Christians partake and celebrate Halloween? Now, for understanding of Halloween, I want to go a little bit into the history and where it stemmed from. Now, Halloween, if I remember in my studies years ago, it came from a man named Pope Gregory III, that created Halloween, the origin of Halloween. Pope Gregory III wanted to um, he wanted to commemorate the dead and remember the saints that passed away. Commemorate the dead and just remember those who passed away. And the era he lived in was in the eighth century. The 8th century, and this was the Celtic culture, what was known today as the Irish culture. And during that time, the Sahim, I so hope I'm saying it right, the Samtian culture celebrated and commemorated the Halloween tradition, the Hallow Saints tradition, Hallow Eve, which was called Hallow Eve. And then as time went on in history and centuries, it became All Saints Day, meaning that you still remember the ones who passed away. You're honoring the dead and remembering those who passed away. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Remembering those who passed away and remembering them, those who were in our past, and remembering them, and remembering the good times we had with them, and just honoring them. There's nothing wrong with that. And then as time went on, during the villages in the Celtic culture in Ireland, in centuries ago, they used to dress up in costumes by wearing masks, so they can they created bonfires in the villages for that one day on November the 1st. And they just wanted to dress up and to scare away any demons that tend to come their way. So they dressed up, and as time went on, they celebrated with treats, sweet treats, and not only the sweet treats, they also went door to door, and they also went, as time went on, they went to each other and they gave each other treats to celebrate the celebration of Halloween, better known as Halloween, as created into Halloween celebration. And as time went on, the mask wearing became more demonic. It became more of a hobgoblin, and the witches, and also the carving of the pumpkin, which is called the jack-o'-lantern. We had carved out the eyes and the nose, which is also known as the demon, as the Sophenia or Sopapian demon, which is the jack-o'-lantern. And I question that, for years, when we came to this country, parents dressed us, me and my brother, up as we used to go to Halloween. We did participate in trick or treat before we became born again Christians. And so the question was and as I got to know, as time went on, I got to learn the history of Halloween. And as time went on, I was guilty of dressing my kids up and going trick or treating at one time a few times already. But as I got older, I got to learn the history of Halloween. The history of Halloween. And I said, man, I see a lot of hobgoblins, warlocks, witches, people, demonic forces, people that's dressed up wearing skeleton face and scary movie costumes, and people dressing up, and I was looking at the history of it, and this it's just a demonic force and different spirits that come out of that day, October the 31st. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, wow. And as I read and I continue to look into the pagan celebration, I said to myself, we should not be. So my answer to that question, should, as believers and followers of Christ, should we celebrate Halloween? The answer is no. Now, what I do, this is what I do, because I do love sharing the gospel. So what I do is, when people do come to my door, once in a while I will give them candy and a Christian track, because I do like sharing the gospel in many ways, whether it's through my music, or whether it's through handing out tracks, or whether it's through anyway, or speaking into YouTube channels or my social media. So the question goes into, should Christians celebrate Halloween? And my answer is no at this time. No at all times. So we got to be careful of demonic spirits and wicked spirits that we let into our domains, especially as believers. And we got to be watching, because all sort of things that happen sometimes when you allow demonic forces to come into your spirit man, and come into your household. And so the word of the day is out of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 21. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too. You cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of the demons. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 21. Also, another scripture says you cannot serve two masters. You either serve one and you can't serve two masters. This is Zaccheus. With another live word of the day, God bless and be safe. The live word of the day is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 21. God bless and be safe out there. And remember to be safe out there. And if you have a chance, share the gospel with somebody. God bless.